Listen up, the ashes stir, phoenix wings unfurl, seeking truth beneath the blur. Turnings for the lax, they meet the blur. Out the flames, I rise, wings scorched but unbroken. Truth's the blaze, I wield, every rhyme's a token. In the nest we move, hearts stump in unison. Searching for the light where the system cuts our wisdom.
Hello, good morning everyone.
They boxed us in cages. Now
I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you are hearing the music. I don't understand what's going on. But since my audio is coming through loud and clear, I'll go ahead and get started. We'll just have to skip the music. Hold on one second.
Proven guilty, that's the oath we recite.
So that was kind of odd, but let me do this. Let me just go ahead and get started. I'll just edit the part out without the music and I'll do a rewrite. So good morning. I just want to welcome everyone into the nest. Come on in. Good morning, Amanda B. There's a lot of OGs in the house. Great. It's a beautiful day in North County. Love it. I love how you guys say good morning to one another. This is absolutely awesome. Someone, good afternoon. Good morning, all. Hey, eyes wide open. Love it. Simple me. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning. I saw that. Hell. Okay. All right. Hopefully, if I share some videos, we'll be able to hear the audio. I sure hope so. Sheila, good morning, honey. Come on in. We are going to discuss the DNA. This is a Phoenix fireball because if you knew, I was up late last night on Outcast 420. Shout out to him. And we were able to discuss a little bit about what we thought about these new documents that dropped from the Idaho State Police, which are very interesting. I was able to go through all of them, read them, take notes. I put the link on our fabulous website that we have managed to run as a group. And when I say run, your contributions help keep that website alive. If you haven't seen the website, go ahead and run over to justiceforall.com. It is a fabulous website that we have all contributed to. And when I say that, I've had so many great ideas come in of what we should put on that website as a community and have definitely shared that information. It is up on the website. And if you have not seen it, I'll go ahead and share it real quick with you so that you can just take a peek, get all these out of the way. If you haven't hit subscribe, please feel free to do so. It is free. All of my streams are free. I greatly appreciate your support. So if you haven't seen the website Justice for All, you go into the Bryan Kohberger documents. There is this mailing address, a few other pictures. All we're doing is saying a call to action is send them a postcard. Hey, hope you're doing well. You can go ahead and put whatever on there you want. Not Kohberger's blood DNA on the nice sheet. There's a Department of Justice web letter form if you want to send one in. There's the example of the DOJ letter to the Honorable Pamela J. Bondi. And it does give you some options to copy in the full staff. So there's an idea of a shared letter. Just write it from you. You can email it too. You know what? I think I'll put the email address up there so you guys know how to do that too. But if you definitely go into the court documents, this will link you directly to the court documents. There's a donate button. It is not active as I speak right now. So if you donate anything on the stream, it definitely goes directly to this website to support it, administer it, and keep the documents up to date. This link will take you directly to the iCourt documents. That's the Idaho court. There's the MPD files you can download. We do live digs. And as a matter of fact, I'm doing a live dig this morning with you so that you can actually see that if you want to download those documents or have another device and be able to look at the documents as we talk. You can see them right here from the website, which is nice to go in and look. There's some pictures. Here's the Idaho reports. If you click on this link, it'll take you directly to the documents, which everyone is reading. A lot of people have gone through, continue to read. We don't gatekeep here. We share everything we find, and that'll take you there. And so if you have any questions, let me know. There are some autism filings in that website. Just so you know, I'm going to be covering those pretty soon too. That is the autism court filing document. You can read all 333 pages that I have taken out of the repository and put them here to be able to review easy. Some emails saying that basically Bryan Kohberger was not in Washington at the time of the Pullman 4. If you remember the Pullman 4, 4 college girls had their house broken into and allegedly a man standing over them with a steak knife. So videos are on there too. So that's enough housekeeping on that. But let's get into our little tiny unknown DNA fireball. And let me see if I can access my media. Hold on one second. I don't know why this happens, but it does. 1 second.
Listen up.
Let me see if you guys can hear this. Hold on 1 second. I just thought about it. Maybe it's my mic or my headphones. Let me try it now. Let me just check this setting. Thanks for bearing with me. You know, technology is never perfect, guys. Just want to let you know that in case you don't by now. Let me see. Let me see if I can get this up here. Oh, yeah.
Truth ignites us from inside. Hear the roar. We'll never run. We'll never hide. Phoenix drops fireballs of truth. Flames that scorch the darkest roof. Watch deception burn away. Feel the dawn of honest day. Rise again with wings of flame. We will never be the same. Phoenix fireballs of truth. We rise. We rise.
All right, there we go. Phoenix fireballs of truth. Here we go. So did you know by chance, you know, I just have to shout out to myself and a few others. I combed through these new ISP documents. I swore we would find some smoking gun that shows that Bryan is innocent or factually innocent or beyond a shadow of a doubt guilty. And when I didn't find it, I was a little disappointed because obviously we have always said that if Bryan Kohberger did do this, in fact, guilty, he should spend the rest of his life in prison or should have had the death penalty, just like Chad Daybell, right? Well, you do know that Lori Vallow Daybell was let out of her death penalty case. Well, I should say charge, not case, because of the fact that's something that they both shared in common in Idaho and with a case is that Bryan Kohberger was charged with the death penalty, and so was Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. However, Lori Vallow's death penalty was removed. Yes, removed from her charges. So there's a little history on this with Idaho. But today we are talking about the Idaho 4 and what really allegedly happened in 1122 Queen Road, as I've always said. However, the inconsistencies of evidence and the lack of DNA evidence for Kohberger does not add up. I'll repeat. The evidence inconsistencies, especially with the unknown DNA, does not add up in the Idaho 4 case. And I will point this out time and time again. Let me grab my handy dandy sharing tool. And if you have looked at the Moscow Police Department's evidence file, you will see that there is a item number 352. And I caught this just out of the corner of my eye when I was looking at something. Item 352. Let me go ahead and go back. Let me just do a real quick find. 352. Item 352, and I've said this, yes, they have stated that there are approximately 3 male unknown. But did you know that there is approximately 2 male unknown? I'm sorry, 2 female unknown DNA at the 1122 crime scene. What? 2? Well, they reported 1, but the new information in the ISP documents reports that there are possible 2 unknown female DNA at the crime scene at the 1122 King Road. And how is this? How did we miss this? That Moscow didn't inform us. Moscow Police Department didn't specify in their reports, but the ISP specifically has. And I'll show you something in the Moscow Police Department evidence logs that show you 2 possible unknown female DNA. So what does that mean? Well, you can interpret it the way you want, but I'm going to share you the way I found. So the evidence inconsistencies in the evidence log in itself is a little shocking. Now, we do know that Bryan Kohberger can file a post-conviction relief and basically say, hey, I'm going to file habeas corpus. I'm being held against my will by the state of Idaho as a POW, per se, that I should be free, that this is not my DNA. I was not there. I did not do this. No matter how many times he can give an alibi or yada, 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 his DNA is never found. There is no connection. The misappropriated information that's been given among these news nation and social media influencers of what. But let me tell you, evidence does not lie and DNA doesn't lie, because there are plenty of innocent project cases out there where the DNA has exonerated. Yes, DNA has exonerated individuals alone. Didn't need anybody's witness testimony, didn't need a witness, didn't need anything. I think we are witnessing in our time the only person that has ever been able to beat the justice system, folks. The only person in history that we are witnessing right now, convicted with circumstantial evidence, however, beating the judicial system. And just how, Phoenix, do you think he did that? Well, let me tell you, when you are charged with a crime, something of this, in this nature, and you know that you did not do this, what do? You play the long game. What's the long game? You plead out. You file post-conviction, and then what do? You prove that you didn't do this without going to a trial, because that will spend years and years and years in appeals. And this was not an option for Bryan Kohberger. An appeal was out of the question. When you have the people who approve appeals putting you in jail, in prison for life, you don't have that option to say, oh, I'm going to appeal and spend tens of years appealing to prove my innocence. No, I'll take a plea and I'll prove my innocence in a short amount of time, and I won't be here long, and then I'm going to own your ass. So I'm a little spicy today, guys. I've seen this happen time and time again where people plead guilty per the charges, because if you did not see Bill Thompson's face when he said the defendant agreed to plead guilty on all 5 counts, because if you remember his defense, they filed several petitions, several motions, several requests to remove some of these atrocities from the charge. And the DA, prosecutor, said, no way, state, we're not doing this. No freaking way, judge. We're not going to bend over backwards. We're not going to do this. So what do? We follow the evidence, because he does have federal constitutional rights to say, hey, federal government, this state is holding me against my will, and I want out. And I'm going to prove you how I didn't do this. No blood contact on the sheath. No evidence of his blood being anywhere. No DNA, no fibers, no hair, no nothing. Just like Trump tweeted, no nothing. Well, excuse me, he didn't tweet. He built his own social media platform to offset the fake news. So let's get into this evidence that Phoenix has looked at, Phoenix has found, and Phoenix will share, because around here, we don't gatekeep. We share and share alike. Here is my chart that I made. The unknown DNA evidence matrix. Take a screenshot. Go ahead. You know, I don't like talking politics. I like talking truth and evidence, but take a screenshot. And we're going to go through these in the Moscow Police Department. We're going to go look at 351 first. So I'm going to put 351 up on the board for you so you can actually see what I'm sharing. And here we go. Let's dive into it. So I am going to scroll in closer for y'all to be able to see this 351. And it just popped off the screen. 352 too. We'll start there. Hold on. All right. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Can you guys see 352? Should I zoom in? Let me just zoom in a little bit more. Hopefully you can see that. 352 item. It was found on December 29th of 2022. So wait a minute. They didn't collect all this stuff after? What? Wait a minute. Why did they collect it on the 29th? Don't ask me. Did they go back to the crime scene and think, oh, this was an open and shut case. We don't need to change. We don't need to see what else was in that house. Board it up, knock it down, hide everything. Well, did you know that item 352 is a feminine hygiene product? And did you know that it did not match any surviving roommates that we're aware of? And it didn't match anyone that volunteered their DNA. Who else was in the house? I don't know. But if you start looking at the facts, then you'll be able to see the bigger picture. So we're exposing evidence the mainstream media won't touch. That's the unknown DNA at the crime scene. So let me ask you a question. If multiple identified male, and we're focusing on the female DNA profiles were found, why is all the focus only been on the sheath? Why? So remember, this atrocity occurred November 13th, 2022. Explain to me that we know All these statements that we've seen to date, that you've seen to date, that was a party house hub, but it was a restricted party house hub. Per their own admission in their own statements, in most of these statements, especially the ISP, it was known as a party house, but it was only the frats and the sororities that was let in. They kept a really tight list of people who were able to get in there. Only certain profiles stand out. Certain people were let in, certain people were denied. It was a very close-knit, tight house. Prosecution pushed for the DNA linked on the sheath, but I'm here to show you what ISP shows you. You know, I could highlight real quick the male DNA. They were left on cigarette butts, not linked to Bryan Kohberger. Nail clippings, at least from one victim, showed foreign male DNA. We know that. Stain blood swabs mixed with DNA profiles. We got that. But they never told us about the female DNA. There's 1 to 2 profiles. They don't match the victims. So non-victim hair, feminine hygiene products not tied to the victims, and tissues, Q-tips, cups showing non-resident female DNA. Well, whose was it? Well, we do know that the alleged DoorDasher that admitted she saw somebody ducking in the bathroom with brown hair. Well, if Kohberger engaged in a close quarter combat with 4 victims, his DNA would be all over, yet only one item links him, and that is the sheath. The sheath that's transferred DNA, partially thrown out by the courts because that link could not be brought up in a court of trial. How many other signs are people being involved? A lot of DNA, mouth swabs, buccal swabs from friends, ex-boyfriends, showing the police took the unknown DNA seriously enough to chase those comparisons. Do you believe these unknown DNA profiles are random? Holly, I know they don't mind digging in the trash, but why didn't they stop and dig more inside the house, except for at a later date? Doesn't make sense. Look at the dates on here. 11/29/22. Weeks, almost a month and a couple of weeks after the atrocity. Totally after. So the real story is heading towards the hidden evidence in the logs. It doesn't match the simple narrative we've been given. It doesn't. And I went over the media bullshit yesterday. You can go watch that video. That gives you a very enlightening pattern of BS to identify. So next time, I definitely want to look at the timeline of the witnesses that kind of clash with the DNA trail. So we're looking at the feminine hygiene product collected from the scene on 12/29/22, and it's not tied to any of the victims. And I could show you multiple 351 hair samples. Here's another one, not matching the victims. 358, here's another one, multiple hairs. We don't know what it came from. Did it come from Murphy? Did it come? No, it showed female DNA, but not matching the victims. I can go to 363 right here. Linton hair. Was that from Murphy or other females? Yes. Female contributors not matched to the victims. 370, again, hair. Another one. Female contributors not matched to the victims. Why were we only being told half of the story? If maybe not even half, maybe 20%. And I can go on and on. There's several other contents that just throw red flags. Cigarette butts, right? Q-tip swabs, lollipop sticks, earplugs. Whose earplugs, right? Did they use earplugs to stop hearing the screams and the torture? I can only imagine and speculate why earplugs would be found next to more earplugs, Band-Aids, a Dunkin' lid and cup. Why? Lollipop sticks. I can only imagine. So, with that being said, investigators acknowledged that additional female DNA was detected on certain swabs and hairs. They were labeled as unresolved contributors. Unresolved. There's the cigarette butts, nail clipping, female hygiene product, and hair. Now, were they just visitors from the party before? Perhaps. Was that party a little bit more sinister? Did it continue on while they were out at other parties? Was it guests of people that were at the house before the roommates came back? Perhaps. Yes, and earplugs would have DNA. Absolutely. So they remain unattributed, not known, according to the discovery. They didn't match 3 female victims, and we don't even know if they matched Dylan or Bethany. I can only assume and speculate that perhaps since they lived there with the victims, they were probably ruled out. And only if, Dylan and Bethany were ruled out, then whose were they? And were they there that night of 11, early morning, 11:12, 11:13? So why does all this matter? Because the presence of foreign female DNA with logical evidence and statements of people who saw a female ducking with brown hair. We can only imagine who possible that was in the house that night. I mean, who could that possibly be? That individual, have they ever been questioned if they found out who it was? Have no idea. We're not privy to that information, are we? Who has brown hair? Who has dark hair? Whose initials are LM? They were known and witnessed to be seen outside at 2 a.m. with Bethany and Dylan. They were known to be watching Vampire Diaries per statements. Would it match that person's DNA had they been in the house? Or was this DNA closer to where the bedrooms were, or in fact, in some of these bedrooms? Because remember, in the evidence, they don't specify any designation of where the DNA was located. And that, again, like I said yesterday, is a simple fact that this log is not very detailed. This log does not say item found X, Y, and Z, item found on victim, item found ABC. We don't know. But all of these 1 to 2 unidentified female DNA contributors, they were never explained away and remain open-ended profiles in the case file. Wild as heck. And I could go on and on. There's household debris, cups, Q-tips, tissues, various all over, glove and trace debris that were male, blood stains that were male, nail clippings that were the victims that were male, and the cigarette butts were male. Yes, we know they had a party Friday night before, but Dylan, in her own statement, admitted that they cleaned. They cleaned. What exactly did they clean? Do we know? No. I would love to see just one video occurrence of the actual interviews that shows the demeanor before, when Moscow interviewed Dylan and or Bethany, and after, when they interviewed Bethany in Nevada and Dylan with ISP. Interesting. Household debris, several produced DNA, identified as female, but not tied to a victim. Were they ex-boyfriends, neighbors, roommates? I doubt it. The reason I say that is because they were very picky with who they let in the house. Even though the frats could come over and have parties and do what they wanted, that house was on a kind of like, I'm going to stop you at the door, you're not going to get in type of list. They're all going to know who could get in and who couldn't. Even though some people had the door code that probably were trusted and admitted to by Bethany in her statement. Certain people had the codes to the door. And do you think that maybe Bethany gave the code to anyone, or Dylan could have gave the code to anyone? Because in one of the ISP reports, it did mention that the code was given to someone and they entered the home waiting for them to return. I'll have to go back and look at my notes because I remember seeing somebody was given the code. And if I look at my notes, I believe LM had the code also to the house. And who is this mysterious LM? Does that person's DNA match up to the LM that was calling the K-Bar Knife Company, where their order had been placed and they were unaware of this order, that the FBI came and visited them? I know one LM is a male and another LM is a female. But who are these two LMs? What are your thoughts about that? Hey, OG Dina, welcome. What are your thoughts about that? And the code could have been changed once a week, every other night. Because remember, when they had parties, not everybody was downstairs. Most people were upstairs on the second floor. A code was needed. Definitely a code was needed, especially when they didn't come to the door quickly. Or if they answered the door, they lied and said, let me get you someone here. And they sent the boys to answer the police department. And this one video that has been playing in my mind that I showed you a couple weeks ago, and the Saeed video, the complaints in that home, it seemed like everybody in the neighborhood had a problem with 1122. I'm not even going to call it King anymore because I'm just going to say 1122 because I still say it's Queen Road. The police say it's Queen Road, but everyone's calling it King Road. What video am I talking about? If you haven't seen this video, here is that video. Remember, it's muted for the first couple of seconds, and then it goes on. Hold on. This famous video. You know, we don't know what's true. We don't know how many times that the code could have been changed.
How are you? We're not actually. I don't know who lives here. No, I don't.
You guys haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay, drive careful, okay?
Thank you.
And who were those two individuals? We can go back and speculate. I have a feeling one of these individuals, let's look. Let's just go back a few minutes, seconds. Here they come walking out. They've got their flashlight on them. It's been speculated that this could possibly be, allegedly. Who are these individuals? See the heads at the second floor where the big open living room is, where they party? Into the kitchen, up to the rooms.
How are you?
Brown hair.
We're not actually. I don't know who lives here. No, I don't.
You guys haven't been
I don't know who lives here, but I came here to party and I'm leaving now.
drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay, drive careful, okay?
Of course we haven't been drinking. We're not going to tell you. We're going to lie to you like everyone else.
Thank you.
Did they?
I can go get them.
I can go get them real quick. We all know who that is, right? Why are they always lying?
Trulies? This is what the other group had that ran away.
Oh, really? It just did.
The other group that just lied to them, he saw them drop the bag and then they walked off.
Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car. And the other one.
Nice. Truly's for the win.
And then they dump them down. And finally, we see someone come to the door. After a while, they've convinced somebody to come down and please go talk to them. Please. You know, they snoop around a little bit. Then finally, someone comes to open the door. It takes them a while to try to get somebody to come to the door, you guys. And then they finally do.
White Claws?
White Claws.
Nice.
Okay.
Live music, party.
Never will.
No one should be a fan of White Claws or Truly.
And then we sat here.
Now you can hear them talking in the background to Hunter. Listen.
Good on you. I wish I did. I did want to go to college. So,
Right now, if I can, I would like to collect.
I remember what it's like.
Oh, my apologies. It's not Hunter. He hasn't come to the door yet. It's the other guy that was, I believe he was the ride along in the cadet program.
That's good. We did bird, and I'm guessing, and I want your current address also as well, okay?
Yeah, I mean,
It's okay.
I don't assume that's Gatorade.
How do you spell it, Maddie?
Loaded weapon right there. Twisted Tea. Whack. Remember that video? The dude smokes that guy.
M-O-G. I have no clue who this is.
I don't know. You can leave it there. I'm sure whoever's passed it will come grab it.
They're gonna be sad when they.
I have no clue, but somebody was asking for a black bag. Do you guys remember that? Look at the window at the left. Yep. Right. The black bag. There's a reference in the ISP. Somebody wanted to return their black bag. I wonder if that was the black bag that they wanted returned.
I can find it.
Yeah. So I tell you guys are Sigma guys?
I'm a Sigma.
I was in a house on Why? You guys.
Now, did you just hear? I'm Sigma Chi, but I was in a house, but I'm not there. Listen.
This is
I don't know. You can leave it there.
I'm sure whoever's passed it will come grab it.
They're gonna be sad when they can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should have left this.
So I tell you guys are Sigma guys.
I'm a Sigma. I was in a house on
Why?
I was in a house, but I'm not there anymore. Was this maybe one of the statements that, yeah, was this one of the guy's statements that said he was? Who that is speaking? He just told the police, I was in the frat, but I'm not part of it anymore. Who is this speaking to the officer? You'll be able to put the dots together.
I have no clue who this is.
I don't know. You can leave it there.
I'm sure whoever.
I have no clue whose bag this is. I'm giving you guys clues. I'm giving you such good clues. If you've read the documents, then you know ISP took a statement from him.
Passed it will come grab it.
They're gonna be sad when they come
I'll ask them to come grab it. This guy knew whose bag that was.
find it.
Yeah.
Should have left this. So I tell you guys are Sigma guys.
I'm a Sigma. I was in a house on
Why?
graduated.
There you
I
go.
will graduated with a bachelor's. I'm still getting my master's right now. So.
But you get masters.
All right, Madison.
I'd like to-
So here's the
Oh,
deal.
I graduated with a bachelor's. I'm working on my master's.
Actually, got a
They've
kid
already
mine
said
who's
that
starting
no one
that
here
program.
lives at,
Really?
like,
What's his
none
name?
of the occupants that live
It's the
at
first
this
year.
address are here right now.
He's only
His last-
he's a
Brandon
Oh,
Kohberger.
he's actually
Oh.
You
You
know,
won't
let them
know
know
that.
that the noise needs
Did he
to,
go through
needs to
Russia?
come down. Okay, we just received a
No, don't take this the wrong way. I
I
told
know
him
what
if he
you're gonna
joined a
say,
fraternity,
yeah.
I was going to disown him.
Yeah, I know. I don't blame you. I see both sides of it.
I did it
For sure.
because I know his personality, and after a while, he
Hey,
would just
I
piss off
understand.
with everybody.
Okay, it's just
Did you join
I mean,
the-
Remember, the officer's in the background talking to Maddie on the phone.
if I were you guys, I'd probably just come
I
home
was in a different
and make sure that whoever is
Like it's
party here
scalding.
is keep it down to.
No.
All right, where's your point?
Okay.
I don't see.
So at this point, we're
I
going
did a
to
lot
leave.
of that in
Okay.
Moscow.
And again,
did a lot
if I
of
have to come
acting
back later
competitions
tonight,
over that.
like I said, I can
I
express
played there for
there's
2 years.
some situation to get now. Okay.
So this party, this noise complaint was 9/1/2022. And in the police reports, there were plenty of people that called in to complain. Matthew Moye was identified as one of the people who called in. That house is right directly behind the 1122 King Road address. Now, thank you, Shalom. I greatly appreciate that. And when you look at who these individuals are, they're giving you clues within the clues. They knew whose black bag this was. This was a common practice, guys. Okay, they're college students. They're walking around campus with backpacks. Yeah, they got books. They got this and that. They've got beer in these backpacks. They've got alcohol. They've got whatever for these drinkers, these underage drinking, for these parties, these rituals, for this hazing, whatever they're doing, they have alcohol in their backpacks. Yes, some kids are of age. They'll go buy drinks for the underage. They'll come and bring them to the parties so that everybody can have a good time. But think about the amazing information that they're giving you. No, if someone says, "Hey, you can search my car, you can search my bag, go for it. Can I see what's in this?" And you say yes, you've given them permission to search. They don't need a search warrant to check your bags. They only need a search warrant if you say no. You cannot have any access to my vehicle. If they stop you and they say, "Hey, can I search your vehicle?" No, do you have a warrant? You have to have probable cause to search. That's why police officers have to go to a judge and say, we have probable cause. Please sign off on this search warrant so we don't do anything illegal and then get our hands slapped in a lawsuit behind there. So keep in mind, I was married to a corrections officer for 12 years. I was married to a former deputy sheriff for 11 plus years. So, you know, I know what I'm talking about just a little bit. I'm just stating facts, folks. Let's finish watching this and see if you pick up on any more clues they're giving us just months before the unalivings.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, you enjoy your evening, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys take the trainers, try them out, make sure they actually enjoy the job before you invest a whole lot more time.
Yeah, so we like to get them to this point, just to get them hired. It's a pretty substantial.
Now, keep in mind, they are talking business while slapping these frats on the hand, dumping out their alcohol and saying, party's over, dude. Lower the volume or we're going to have to give you some ticket, or we're going to gauge with the Greek council. You're going to get in trouble, and then your frat or your sorority is going to be shut down, or it's temporarily suspended, or whatever the rules of the Greek life system is. And one of the officers, we went over this a little while ago, one of the officers is telling the cadet how to get hired on with the department. And if you're not aware, Moscow Police Department, Officer Tesdal is the coordinator according to the website, Moscow Police Department Annual 2002 report, which I've showed you several times, that there is a cadet program, and they have a program at the U of I to recruit for the police department graduates of the U of I. It is a cadet program that's ran out of the Kibbe Dome. FYI.
Like, they do a full background check, tons of interviews. We go to all their previous places of work. Like, we send people to where they live. So just to get to where you're hired is a big deal. And then it's 4 phases, 4 weeks each. They get progressively more burden put on them to do the job on their own, basically. And so we have like a 50% washout rate, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. So
even if they are like from out of state, you try and send somebody there?
Yeah. Yep. Like, we send people to Montana and Illinois and California.
Like personally from the police department, or you reach out?
Our detective sergeant goes, talks to all their bosses, and pulls all their records. It's crazy because it's such a high liability. Like, if you hire someone who's got a bad record,
Right.
A high liability they look at before they hire anyone. A high liability. They don't want to be sued, because have you Googled how many times the university has been sued in the last few years? A lot. Almost 11 lawsuits.
Find it. You're stuck with them. So yeah, it's a pretty significant process.
Party like this in college?
No. I just drank in my apartment by myself. Seriously.
There's a party over there. I don't.
It's Halo time.
And I'm just going to say this. Being in law enforcement, there is way too much temptation for the people who are out there that are not strong to resist a lot of what they encounter on a day-to-day basis. And that was the video that I wanted to show, because it does give some indication of what possibly could have happened that night. How many individuals were there? You heard the loud party. You heard the loud party behind. You heard how they tried to lie and say nobody was there that lived there. This is a common practice to just try to get out of the truth. So remember, when it comes to the DNA, outside of the sheath, there's no indication in any of these reports that Kohberger's DNA turning up on swabs from surfaces, bedding, hair, body fluids. Instead, all the items appear to fall into the categories that I told you. Matches. Expect matches, victim DNA in their own bedding and cloth and personal items. You you expect the background DNA in the unidentified profiles, such as the cigarette butts, the hair, the tissues, the bottles, not linked to Kohberger again. Some swabs were from friends, exes. They were taken to rule out innocent contributors. That leaves the sheath as the only reported direct link. And if you ask me to exclude it, it's worth noting everything else seems inconclusive or irrelevant to Kohberger so far. So who were the two not ruled out, unknown female DNA? Because everyone else is focused on the males. Who were the females? Now keep in mind, multiple strands of animal hair were collected. The affidavit mentioned suspected dog hair linked to Kohberger's apartment, but those records clearly tie the dog from the scene. They don't tie him from the scene to him. Cigarette butts were collected outside and inside. No specification exactly where these items located. Did they keep another log, a very detailed log? Were there possibly other suspects? None of these things belonged to Kohberger, not even the stained blood mixture on the rail. It contained more than one person's DNA. The docs don't mention or identify him in those mixtures. And if you look at the big picture, the absence of Kohberger's DNA is significant. Can he file a PCR? Absolutely, on this alone. If he had been sweating, bleeding, shedding in the house, there had to have been something, but there is nothing. What in the world? And someone just brought up a very good point. Okay, so 351, still we do not know who that created contact, the new contact of Dylan was. If you had to be able to ask one question that you want answered, drop in the chat that one question that you would want answered today. Just one. What would it be? What would you want to know? And remember, the DNA dragnet in this house was massive. We saw a lot of the CSI come and go. Hundreds of swabs from the evidence, body fluids, hairs. But the silence is very telling, especially about these two unknown female DNA that did not match the victims. Did not match the victims. The case hinged on one item only, and that was a button snap touch DNA. I mean, Ann Taylor even specified, hey guys, this is sus. This is sus. So let's see what questions you guys would ask. Who did Dylan see? Did Dylan even know who the killer was? The identity of the unknown DNA in the house. What was Bethany's exculpatory evidence? Well, remember, the investigator in the court documents specified that he believed, this was the defense third-party investigator, believed that Bethany held exculpatory evidence. Whose DNA was under Maddie's nails? Well, you can go and watch Birdie's, and it gives a breakdown of who they thought and what matched. Is very interesting. Where's the sheath? The sheath was last held into evidence. Remember, the sheath was delivered via hand to the laboratory from the Moscow Police Department to Texas. And the chain of custody after that, who knows? Is it still there? Did anybody mail it back? That's questionable. Why did BK plead guilty when the case was so sheet? That is a great question. And we're going to get into that. We are definitely going to get into that with these documents on Justice for All. So be ready, because I'm about to throw that up on the schedule. I have researched. I have looked at these documents. I have done my due diligence. And you will see why Anne probably advised her client allegedly to take the plea deal. If you have not seen these court filings, you will want to see these court filings before we get into it. Download them, review them. If you download them, you can use the search function, which I highly recommend, because we are going to get into that. Anne left some nuggets of gold information in these documents that I have located that will blow you away as to why he pleaded. Remember, a plea is a court process. It is not a confession. Remember that, folks. Would DM and BF be excluded? You think they would tell us, but they don't. And I'll leave it at the DNA. Was unknown Dylan Molly's contact DoorDash? I have no idea. I would like to know the answer to that one too. Who did she create a contact at 3:51? Was it after the atrocities happened? I believe so. In my humble opinion, allegedly, I believe it happened. Then she made a new contact. Where did the contact come from? Was it out of one of the survivors or the victim's phones? Did she take information from a victim's phone allegedly and add a contact? If so, who was that contact? I would like to know that. Whose DNA was under Maddie's nails? Let me show you. I will show you the video that Birdie put together, and it shows you exactly from the documents whose DNA was under Maddie's nails. Where is his video? Hold on. I should have screenshotted this. He did a really good one. Hold on. Where is his video? DNA. There's zero chance this is a coincidence. Where? He's got a screenshot of the actual court document. Hold on. He's got so many videos. I'm not giving up until I find it. Hold on. There's no coincidence. Where are you, Birdie? Is this it? Hold on. He's got a really good video on Karen Reed too, by the way. Maybe I just need to click on this video to see. Hold on. Birdie. We are, I'm at a loss for words. Where did his video go? I know he just showed it the other day. We went over it. Where is it? Probably could have got it out of the court documents by now. All right. I might have to screenshot it and put it up at a later date. That is a great question. Where is the DNA? Hold on. All right. I'll have to pull it out and I'll give it to you guys. Let me see what the next question is. I'll write down your question. I know they tested it. It was Cole, Ethan's, JS, and something else. What undercover operation was going on Moscow that night? Well, I do know at a higher level it was Take Back America. That was the #1 by OCD ETF. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it. But this was the actual original. Let me add this to the screen. Hold on. This was the actual operation that was taking place. Take Back America was a federal initiative established by the DOJ and the DEA to combat illegal immigration and drug trafficking, which hand in hand. OCDTF has been around since 1982. I remember encountering them in 1989. I won't tell you why, but they're out there. And, you know, there's 240 cases in a short period of time with this operation. So you can go back and you can look at what actually, you can go right to the DOJ website and it will tell you. And you can go and look at this. If you haven't seen this, this is huge. And this, I believe, was happening at the time. I wasn't talking about specific individuals until after they were caught and the federal indictments came out. And that would be the JJB gang and some other higher ups in Arizona, as a matter of fact. But this has been nothing new. It has been going on for quite some time. And this took place right after Trump was reelected. So in November of 2023, it was when was the election? 2024. But it was announced during his campaign. So you'll have to go back, take a look at the DOJ. You can look right on their website and you can see what that whole program is, because they're still doing it. They are still sharing it. And if you aren't sure, let me just go ahead and share. Oh, I can't share a PDF. Dang it. So since January 2025, it was already underway in some form, but they couldn't work together as a joint task force until the president took office on January 20th, 25. But it had already started way before then, way before. I mean, they have just been doing this for so long. A lot of people just didn't know what was going on. Exact same question as Ms. Pottage. Why did he plead guilty? We'll go over that. Maybe they knew her. Maybe. Great questions. You guys are like on top of it. Great questions. Great comments. I mean, if you look under the videos, some people have experienced in breaking down cell phone records, analyzing them. There's just been so many good things to come out of it. So wrong. Farley did that to Papa Roger, light on him. I don't think he was in on it, Roger or BK. I don't know. Not sure. I think he was probably, he's not a snitch. He's not going to snitch on anyone. So great questions. There were 2 people who answered the question, why would anyone kill these people, Dylan and Showalter? Yeah, you do have a point there. Interesting. You guys have all got some great questions. I mean, I guess I would want to know one question. And my one question would be, who made the executive decision to cover all this up? That would be my one question. Because you got to look at higher and higher and higher and see who allowed all this to be covered up. Who's making the big decisions? Because what we're doing is we're talking about people involved, and this goes way beyond the people involved at a higher level. And definitely check out Outcast. I was on there last night. We were talking. All alleged. But hey, you all have been great. And yet Hippler blocked every single move. Absolutely. And did a fabulous job. Absolutely. So hey, you all, if you've got comments or questions, drop them below. I'm going to bring you some more really good content. I've got some other things scheduled today. Make sure that you don't miss those. And as always, thanks for popping in. Thanks for the support. Love you all. Be well.
Phoenix talks manifesting a dream. Got a growing channel, YouTube's where the wisdom resides. For all the Nest members, no truth can ever hide. She's an under-detective on the digital beat, questioning the unthinkable, bringing fire to the heat. With a mind so advanced, highly intelligent and bold, part of the hive mind with birdie stories to unfold. Common sense is a superpower, cutting through the noise, unlocking closed minds, amplifying all our voices.
Phoenix, Phoenix, what do you see?
From inside, hear the roar. We'll never run, we'll never hide. Phoenix drops fireballs of truth, flames that scorch the darkest roof. Watch deception burn away, feel the dawn of honest day. Rise again with wings of flame, we will never be the